Boom! Texans recruiting department doing some work today, getting a commitment from Rocky Cummings, linebacker out of Carlsbad, California, right there in Southern California. Jerry, 6'4", 220 pounds. You got a chance to see him the week of the Arkansas game coming out of the on his official visit. Impressive, imposing looking player, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of this one. This flip from Cal for Texas. I think this kid's got a really big upside. He's got good length to already a 6'4", 220-pound frame. Looks like he's going to weigh around 240 to me, 235, 240 with long levers. Showed good hands at tight end on senior tape as well. But I'm a big fan of this flip from Cal. Justin Wilcox knows defensive players. He takes guys that are under the radar all the time at Cal, and that have been really good players. He's got range, as you can see there. He can turn and run. He's an aggressive kid. He's a hitter, right? He'll hit you in the plays over type of player. You can rush him off the outside at the edge, as you see there. But I'm a big fan of this flip from Cal. I think this kid's got a chance to be a really good linebacker in the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a utility player almost, Jerry. You can see him rushing the passer. Heck, he even plays some tight end. I don't think they didn't recruit him as that for the Longhorns. But long story short, raw, big boned. And we talked about this earlier with a couple of other players that Texas has taken. Very SEC caliber body type, as we see. I mean, a lot of Texas has not been they've been taking mostly big time SEC type bodies, but this is another one where it's a developmental guy, clearly not expected to play tomorrow, but physically you can see where this guy might add another 20 pounds and be one of those plus size players at his position.
A lot of these guys in high school, a tape will show them just unblocked plays, just going out and making tackles, making sacks. But earlier in this tape, he took on a blocker, right? At the point of attack, just took him out of the play, just got the hands quickly off the offensive tackle and went out and made the play. He shows ability to play on special teams. He catches the ball at linebacker. This guy is, Bobby, I think utility players is well put with him. You could see him being an impact special teams player at Texas because you're 6'4", 220 and got pretty good wheels here. He can play in space. He drops. He's very natural in space, whether that's at a tight end, whether that's a linebacker. He shows really good feet. He shows really good awareness, and he shows the ability to turn his body, contort his body when he needs to. He's an impressive athlete. Bobby, I'd never watched this kid until Texas offered him. After I watched him the first time, I was really impressed. But sometimes then you go watch him a second time and make sure it's just not just the initial reactions too much. And you went back and watched him a second time. He's very impressive. 58 tackles, 7 sacks the last 2 seasons, over 200 yards receiving, makes special teams players. I like this take a lot because he shows physicality to point of attack. He shows range. He shows the ability to drop. He has really long arms. He can rush the passer off the edge. And I'm not trying to make him sound like he's not. What I am making him sound like for Texas fans, this kid has a chance to be a player.
I was going to say, Jerry, just for the record, I'm looking at it, 6'4", 220. He is the third linebacker in this recruiting class for the Longhorns, joining Tyler Atkinson, young man out of Georgia, one of the nation's top-ranked players, and then a guy from the state of Texas that we both think is underranked nationally, Cozy Okpala out of Matey Creek, really athletic, strong player at the point of attack. You think this is a good linebacker group for the Longhorns? Because I think last year they got Bo Barnes and Jonathan Cunningham. This year it feels like this is a more well-rounded group. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like in Tyler Atkinson, he is the more polished, bigger frame version of Ty Anthony Smith coming out of high school. And to me, that's a really good player. That's the difference between being a 4-star and a 5-star player. Tyler Atkins is a legitimate instinctive linebacker who comes out with size to him already. Then you go, I like the Rocky Cummings take, just like I would like the Braylon Hodge take. That's more of your longer lever guy that can play in space. You can move him around on defense. You can move Atkinson around too, but bigger frame guy. Tyler Atkinson, 6'2", 210, will probably be 220 when it's all said and done, maybe 222. And then Okpala is more in that Trey Moore mold to me. He's more of maybe a better edge guy than play in space linebacker. So I think they got versatility amongst those linebackers.
It's interesting, Jerry, you and I follow recruiting and have done so for 25, 30 years now. And one of the things that Steve Sarkisian has done is identify guys where there may be an opportunity late to get in on players and actually flip them. It's just unbelievable. They find a guy that's committed to Cal, and while he's on his official visit to Texas, Cal fires their head coach.
Yeah.
So that is very interesting to me how that all this works out. But Texas doing it again this year, where they're being smart about who they're going after, and then finding guys that they think fit their program to fill out their recruiting class. And a couple of those guys playing this year for the Longhorns. Grayson Littleton was a guy that did not have a scholarship offer until October or November of his senior year, and he started every game for the Longhorns. So these guys that they evaluate late, sometimes you just evaluate players later because obviously he's from Carlsbad, California. Texas does not recruit California like a blanket or anything. They go out there, but clearly it's one of those where you could see Texas finding these players that continue to add to the team. I mean, Kelvin Banks and Cam Williams were once committed to Oregon and got late flips from them and end up both in the NFL now, obviously. This style of recruiting that Sark, Brandon Harris, Chris Gilbert, J. Michael Jones, those guys, and all of the assistant coaches as well. I'll add Johnny Nansen and, PK, all of them. It's an interesting style of recruiting that's a lot different maybe than what you and I are accustomed to historically at Texas.
Yeah, it is. It is. And look, again, this is going to be a bigger class too. Let's point this out. Like we could go 27, 28, even 29 guys in this class. So this is going to be a bigger class. And I think what I really like about what Texas does is they don't rule out senior risers. They're not full and then all the time. And even if they feel like they're full, if there's a senior riser that pops up and they really like him, they will go on that kid. And that doesn't mean every kid in a class is going to be the most highly ranked player. But I mean, right now, USC is number one class. They have 13 3-stars in their class, which is a big class. If you have a big class, every kid can't be a 4-star prospect. Then with rev share coming in. But I like that they evaluate through the whistle, not just recruit through the whistle, but evaluate through the whistle. I mean, and they've done a great job of that. And by the way, my last point on Rocky Cummings, there aren't many guys that commit to Texas and move to Austin that leave a better view.
Yep. Yeah.
Carlsbad. I mean, he left
Carlsbad. Down there in between San Diego and LA, no doubt about it, right on the coast. Hey, Jerry, last piece for you as we think about this and what it means to the Longhorns. I go back to SEC size at multiple positions. That seems to be this. There's always themes or calling cards of a recruiting class. That seems to be the calling card more in this recruiting class than previous ones. I'm not saying that Texas hasn't recruited SEC size before. They certainly have, and they're doing quite well. My point is, it almost seems like, okay, if we're going to take some guys late and evaluate, we're evaluating upsize guys. I mean, if that makes you agree with that?
Yeah. And look, I talked to a college assistant coach a couple of weeks ago, not in the SEC even. And he said with rev share, the one thing he pointed out to me was he said, you have to be great in your player development. He said, because the talent is going to be more spread out with everybody having rev share now. He said, so you better be great in your player development. And I think Texas has taken some guys that are the player development is going to be key because they do have such high upside. So that is going to be the most important thing moving forward in this Texas program and for many programs, because you can't just stack rosters with ready-made players. You're going to have to develop a lot of your players in your program.
Yeah, he looked good on film to me.
Yeah, look good in person, man. Look good in person.
Yeah, that's right. You saw him there at the Arkansas game. Big, long, tall guy, 6'4", 220 thereabouts. Rocky Cummings commits to the University of Texas out of Carlsbad, California, becomes the third linebacker in the 2026 recruiting class for Longhorns. All right, one last thing before we let you go, guys. Rocky, hook 'em horns, buddy.